Hello and welcome back to the Overdue Sports Show, episode 15 of the Overdue Sports Show. I'm your host, Jake Sawinski, accompanied, as always, by Will Massa. How we doing, Will?
Just another day. We've got a lot to cover, though, because we recorded this not last weekend, but the weekend before. So we've had a ton of stuff happen since we last talked. And you actually texted me yesterday and you said, we got a lot of stuff to cover. And I said, what exactly do we have? Because it had been like 10 days. I was like, what did I miss? And, we got Masters and we got a bunch of stuff that we got to talk about.
Yeah, like you said, 10 days since we last recorded, and a few of them aren't our usual talking points, so we're not glossing over them. We're just ignorant to a lot of the nuances that we could talk about. But where do you want to start, golf or hockey?
Just Final Four.
Oh, you want to do basketball? Okay.
Yeah, because that's what we talked about last time. So we might as well just finish that off.
Okay, well, it breaks my heart, but we were 2/3 correct. We nailed the Final Four, to a T. Auburn was up early. It looked like Auburn was going to run away with that game, up 8 at halftime, but Todd Bolden made some good halftime adjustments, and Florida clawed their way back in and beat Auburn to make it to the championship game. Do you have any thoughts on that? It doesn't really matter because it's over and we saw the finished culmination of the tournament.
Feels good to be right a little bit.
Yeah, I bet on them. That was cool. Yeah. And then the second game, Houston and Duke. That one was another wild finish. Like it seemed like Duke had Houston and just pounding the nails in the coffin, and then Undertaker comes out and Houston ends up winning. But it's give and take, right? Give, take away. Houston gave it right back. That championship game was really frustrating because I was very vested on Houston. Like I said on last episode, did a future like after the round of 64, before round 32, for Sweet 16. I don't quite remember when exactly. Had them winning my bracket. I do like 2 brackets only. I know people are like, oh, I have like bracket 692 with this. Like, I don't do. I do like one with the friends from school and one at work. That's the only 2 I do, and I typically do like the same thing. I'll flip a few games here and there, but like the champ's usually the same. Houston, I like outplayed Florida for like 34 minutes. It felt like. And they just fell apart in like the worst imaginable way. I don't know if you have anything to add to that. I feel like I summed it up pretty well, but
yeah, I think you nailed it. I mean, I thought they were going to come out with it towards the end, and I, like you, was very on the Houston train this year because it felt like nobody was on the Houston train this year and just couldn't get it done. I mean, I'm not if one of those heavy favorites were to win, I'm genuinely not surprised that it was Florida. Like, as good as Duke was, like, it just felt like Florida was like different. Like, they were so physical and so much fun to watch through the season.
My coffee pot's making incredibly weird noises. Sorry.
That's all I got.
Oh, that's all you had.
I'm just not surprised that, like, if a heavy favorite was going to win it, I'm not surprised that it was Florida rather than Duke.
Yeah, but I was kind of just proceeding under the inclination that like the 2 heavy favorites from most people's bracket pools weren't going to win. And like it's not one of those where it's like, oh, everyone picked UConn, and then the championship game rolls around and you're turning it off with 5 minutes left in the first half. Like, I was basically right. You know what I mean? Anyone who picked Houston was basically right for, 30, 35 minutes of that game. So that was a little frustrating, but I feel a little vindicated, too, that I can, like, hang my hat on, like, oh, they totally choked. And they did. Like, the last minute, they got the ball 4 times. They had 0 field goal attempts on 4 possessions to close the game, down 2. Or at one point up 1 and then down 2. That's insane. The last shot, the only guy who was paying attention was the guy with the ball because like he would have traveled or double dribbled if he picked up the loose ball he had. And the other 4 guys were just staring at him as the clock hit 0. So it's just like, you just couldn't make that ending up. Like you could, well, you can if you're me, because that happens to me all the time. But for a normal person, you can't make that shit up. Like, you just can't. But I don't think we need to talk about the tournament as a whole too much, just because we kind of did already. Yeah, we did that last week, but I still enjoyed it. Like, it got better.
It didn't stink, let it be known.
Yeah, the round of 32 did, but I'd rather have, if you're going to have one stink, like, let it be early. I'm very much in that camp, and I think this year kind of cemented that home for me, because like, I watched college basketball the years prior, but like when you start betting on it, it's way different. Like, you're way more vested into it. You look into things and like you just watch it a lot more intensely. And I would rather have it this way than years past, because like the last 2 years, not all the final games were bad, but half of them were, because you had one team that had no business being there. I'd prefer it this way. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but that's kind
No, I
of
do.
where I land.
I mean, the Cinderella stories are always fun, but they become unfun really fast, if that makes sense. they're
St.
really fun
Peter's
until they're
against
not.
North
Yeah,
Carolina. Yeah.
they're really fun, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, that sucked. Like that was stupid. I rather would have seen another 1 seed against them in that game.
Yeah, exactly. And we were blessed with 3 very, very awesome games. And even the Elite 8 games were incredible too. Like, you had some comebacks and tragic collapses, and then just teams that would, hung around. And yeah, it was really good. Like, from Sweet 16 on, I don't think there was one bad game, really. Scores might be lopsided, but it didn't feel like, oh, this game's over already.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Hockey or golf? Pick one.
Give me Ovi.
All right.
Give me Ovi.
The Subway, Cheetos, and Coke on the bench legend himself, Alexander Ovechkin, passed Wayne Gretzky. What was that? A week ago? Sunday.
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Sunday. He got his 895th goal against the Islanders. That's really cool, because like, I didn't get into hockey until like college, and that's a record you'd never thought was going to be broken. Like, truly. I did see something funny though. Like, the night of, I was on Instagram and some guy was like, whoa, listen to this. Wayne Gretzky is 1 goal away from breaking Ovi's all-time record. It was really funny. Got a good kick out of that. But I bet him to have a hat trick against the Hawks, and it was so sad because he had one like right away. He got a second one in the third period, and they were just feeding him down the stretch, and they couldn't get that empty net goal. I was like, fuck.
Do you think he's ever going to hang it up? We talked about this off air, I think last week. We were like, if the Caps win this year, the Caps have been absurdly good this year. If they win it this year, he might
Hang him up.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, I think he might just die on the ice. But if there's ever a time to do it, like, you break the record.
Yeah. Oh, if he wins, I feel like you'd have to ride off into the sunset for sure. Yeah. But like, he just doesn't age. Like, looking at the regular season's a little more difficult in my eyes, because it's like he's kind of turned into a power play merchant a lot of the time, like Gretzky, or not Gretzky's off, Ovi's the face-off circle. He stands around a lot. But when the playoffs come around, like, he's buzzing around hitting people and whatnot. Like, he plays like his usual self. And he's almost 40. And he still plays physical enough, right? I mean, he's not like a complete liability out there. But I feel like his playing style, he can play a little longer, It's not like he's Sid, right? Sid's always, in the playing center. He's in a totally different position, facilitating things and, battling with the guy in front of the goalie and making passes and whatnot. So it would be really cool if those two kind of retired at the same time, though. Like, they came into the league together and like they leave together. That would be really cool. But I don't know. I feel like if they win the cup, though, even though they won't, but I, I don't think so.
Are you going back to Florida again this year? Is that the?
Nah, well, I feel like the East is open a little bit because we can agree it's not Toronto. Like that'll never happen. Like it's never gonna happen until it does. But the East is kind of just like there's Florida and Carolina are your two real heavy hitters. But then outside of that, it's like who else would you really think has a legitimate chance? Washington? I don't know. I just feel like their goalie play isn't good enough and they're not as good on the defensive side of the puck.
You don't like Tampa?
Tampa's a good look, I think, but like I don't know. It just Florida's got like they just play so well. Like they play that physical, nasty.
The Devils
kinda
are
game.
super banged up still, and
They're just so
Ottawa is
inconsistent
mid.
too. Like, yeah, and that's kind of what I was getting at with the East. It's like you've got Montreal who can sneak in. I think Columbus is playing for a spot. Ottawa's playing for a spot.
Ottawa
And
clinched today. It's Montreal and Columbus playing for the last spot.
Okay, and like those three, like, do I see them beating Florida? No. But you never know. Hockey is like one of those where it's like any team can beat any team. Doesn't matter what you're seeded in. They always go 6 games, and it always takes a toll on you. The West, I feel like, is going to be the champ this year. That's just me. I haven't been looking too deep into the future stuff yet. I don't think I have the heart to go back to the Stars, even though I think this is the year they're going to do it. They're like 6-1. Like they're the best team in the league, even though they've been playing some very bad hockey. I think they're losing to the Red Wings. That'll be like 6 in a row they've lost, but 5 or 6 in a row. They've been really bad. But
if I take Winnipeg, they will lose. That team is.
I'm going to take Winnipeg so they do lose. I hate them. Fuck them. I'm still pissed about last year.
Anytime I wager on that team, lost.
I know they're.
Anytime I wager, but I also can't go against them too because then I will lose.
Mm-hmm.
I have no feel for that team every single year.
I think Vegas might have a little bit of value. I think they're much better than people are thinking because, people are looking at the Stars or looking at the Oilers or looking at the Jets. I feel like Vegas might be flying a little bit under the radar. The Kings are really good too. So I typically like the longer priced ones. I don't know if we're going to get that this year. I feel like in the East it'll be pretty chalky. I think Carolina might be able to put it together. It just seems like they get all the hype every year and it kind of just fizzle out. It's like tough to play at their building, and then they got smoked at home last year and the year before, so it's like I don't know. I gotta do a little bit more research before we get into that, which we will soon.
We cashed the Sens.
Oh yes,
over.
There you go.
It was coming down to the wire. They picked up some big wins though. Like they beat Florida to start that final stretch, and then they just didn't look back. I was like, because it was kind of looking like it was going to come down to the last 2 games against Chicago and Carolina, and they rattled off like 3 straight wins and cashed it. So that
I think they beat Florida twice.
Yeah,
I think they
made me really happy.
Yeah. That was a good ticket. I didn't do a season-long win total this year, unfortunately.
My other ones were horrible. I actually didn't put any of the other ones out into the atmosphere. The only one I actually released was Ottawa, so I'll take that.
Yeah, the Devils missed that one by, 20 points?
Yeah, the Devils needed to win 20 of their last 10 games, and the Flames needed to not be the best team in hockey for the first 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah, well, the Flames are like how you are with the Jets. That's me with the Flames usually. They're pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
Don't wager on the Wild either. They're dog shit. Don't. They're bad. They're bad. All right. How about some golf? Rory got the monkey off his back. It's been 11 years, 11 long years. We've had 3 different presidents, 4 presidencies since Rory last won a major tournament until yesterday. Despite his best efforts to not actually do it, he did it. Did you watch any?
I'm going to get so much hate for this. I don't think I have ever watched the Masters. I've probably watched like bits and pieces of Sunday on certain years. I watch the clips. I watch the highlights.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
that's
I
pretty.
can't do it. I can't sit down and watch it. And I get it. Like it's actually built well. Like I think to watch it, it's actually a good product because it bounces around to guys, and you're not just like watching nothing and like static air a lot. But I just can't do it. It just like it doesn't get me going. And I love golfing. Like I like being out there, but I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. I don't like watching it.
Yeah, that like the Masters is the one that you should pencil in. Like, hey, I'll at least pay attention to it. Not on your phone, like actually like watch it if you can. The other
I watched a
ones,
little bit. I had a
I
ticket for John Rahm, so I watched him be horrible for the first couple of days.
I had some bad tickets too. Golf is hard. Like
It is.
it's I don't know how you handicap it. I haven't hit a golf bet since Colin Morikawa when he won the U.S. Open in 2021. That was my last golf winner. But I do them very sparingly, so I think I'm like 0-20.
Oh yeah, no, same. I'm like 1-5.
Yeah, but I was on Shoffley.
Were you on Morikawa again?
No, I didn't do Morikawa. I did him in a pool with Rory, Hovland, Shoffley, and who's the fourth idiot I had in there? Hovland, Shoffley, Morikawa, and McIlroy in the pool. And then I bet on Shoffley, and then I did Sepp Straka round 1. He shot +5. The round ones kill me. Like 2 years ago, I was really close with Joaquin Neiman. He missed it by 1. But I might have to retire the round ones. Just not good at them. But you didn't watch it, so it's gonna be hard to talk about it.
He can happily retire. He's got his Grand Slam now.
I don't know. He's only won 5 majors. And he's been regarded as one of the best players on tour in the last 15 years.
Yeah, but weren't 4 of those like very early in his career?
You know, that's the problem.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying like there's a reason. It's because like his prime was so good. Like you can correct me if I'm wrong, but he's been like relatively bad the last couple of years. Like
not the last 2 or 3, but there was a stretch like from I don't know 2019 to 2022 where he was really struggling, kind of like what Justin Thomas is going through right now, or like what Jordan Spieth is kind of still doing, because Spieth is another very similar case, right? Like won a Masters, really good start to his career, and it just hasn't done much since. Golf's so hard though. Like those guys go through like mental battles just trying to, you know what I mean? Like I was reading up on it today, just from everything from yesterday, and just think of like okay, you and I go play a municipal course and one of us plays really well and we shoot like a par. They would shoot like 60 on a course we play, and they're playing the hardest course in the world. Or you're maybe not the hardest course in the world, but like of a professional golf tournament, like the hardest course they'd play. And we're always like, oh yeah, look at this guy, he fucking sucks. Like that Dunlop guy shoots a 90. Oh, that guy stinks. He's like one of the best in the world, like, within 400 people. Yeah. It's crazy how good they are. Like, truly.
Oh yeah. Have you been a big fan of like the rage we've seen in professional golf this year? There's been a ton of club snaps and throws. Like it seems like more so this year than years previous that there's been like on course rage, however you want to frame it. But I think it's awesome. I love it. I think it's hilarious.
I think it's funny. I would never do that just because it's
well,
like I like swearing myself.
I don't get paid to play golf.
No, but then it's like, oh, they broke a club, big deal. It's like, I mean,
Exactly.
it doesn't bother me really, but like I always like the swearing. Justin Thomas ruined that for everybody. Dickhead. Not just kidding. He's cool, but I don't know. It's just it's like humbling just watching them and being like, damn,
oh yeah.
I wish I could.
I get humbled by just going by myself.
Yeah.
I have to watch them. I just go out there and I'm like, yep, that's just how this goes.
Yeah, and I picked up golf relatively late. Like I've
Oh, I
been
did too.
very like consistently playing for like 4 or 5 years now. But like I'd play here and there, like maybe once or twice a year, like maybe junior, senior year of high school. And like my game has gotten so much better, and I'm still horrible. Like it's crazy how good those guys are. And you know what the worst part is? Like for Rory, it's not even that he's happy he won. He's relieved he won. Like, doesn't that has to suck? Like really, like I'm not
Because the
even
whole narrative around
happy.
him is that he can't do it.
Yeah. Like there's no way he doesn't know that or feel the
Oh yeah.
pressure of that with every year that goes
Oh, he
by. And
knows.
yeah, and it's like that must suck to be just I feel relief that I finally won like the most coveted tournament in golf. I'm not even like I'm less happy than I am just relieved. Like that's tough. But some really bad holes and a really unfortunate putt on 18, but beautiful approach shot on that one hole playoff he had to do with Justin Rose and did not miss the putt. Did not miss the 4-foot birdie putt he had. But it was nice to see him win. I know a lot of people were like kind of waiting for that meltdown to happen and they were right, but like I feel like a lot of the golf world like wanted him to win. Like I don't know anyone who like genuinely dislikes him.
No.
And chasing that for better part of 2 decades is like, okay, we're glad you won. Now we can.
It's time.
Yeah, even at his presser, he's like, "What the hell are you guys going to talk about next year?" Like, what do you think of Bryson? How do you feel about Bryson?
I don't know. It's really funny that you asked that because I'm like, I would call myself not remotely in tune with people who watch golf. It seems like a lot of people in the golf space do not like him. And I don't know if it's because he does like the whole content creation thing or what, but I get the vibe that a lot of people dislike him. And like I watch his YouTube videos. Like I think he's a funny guy. I think he's a good golfer. I don't have any feelings, negative or positive, against him. Like I like the dude, but it seems like a lot of people have a really strong opinion about
Yeah,
him, and I don't
that
really understand why. Is it just the content thing? Is that it?
I think that's a big part of it. But like when he first started playing golf on the tour, he was one of those like hardo, but not like he had like a passive hardo, right? Like acted like, oh, I'm here to win tournaments and I'm so serious all the time and I wear a beret and have a belly putter and like all that stuff. And he was doing the content stuff on the side or whatever. And I feel like people didn't really like him, like very widespread. But ever since he went to live and kind of just embraced himself, it seems like he's done a total rebrand. Because you could ask people that were like, "Oh, I'm so out on that guy," and they're like, "Oh, he's actually kind of cool." So I feel like he's really down the middle. Like he's very polarizing. Like I feel like a lot of people really like him, which is a little weird because it's like he's just a pro golf. He's a pro golfer. Like he's just a guy. But then there's people who really don't like him, and I think that just kind of stuck with them since like he first came onto the scene. I feel like he's rebranded really well. Like I feel like a lot of people like him now that did not before. Like really a crazy turnaround for like perception of pro athlete. But
Yeah, I mean,
he was
I was never that in tune with him when he first like, got into it, and so I guess my opinion doesn't carry as much weight. But I was surprised to see how much people disliked him because I was just unaware that people were really
he's
not into
polarizing.
him.
Yeah, he's polarizing for
Like
sure.
all he does is make stupid YouTube videos where he tries to
Yeah.
get crispy with Donald Trump and tries to break course
Yeah.
records at random
Shoots
courses.
golf balls over his house. That one was
Yeah,
cool.
like I don't really understand why people are like so against him.
Well, one thing that definitely didn't help with the hoity-toities was I think his first Masters. He said, "This is a par 68 for me," and he missed the cut. That was like 3 years ago, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He looked good until he was really bad yesterday. Like he only shot a +2, but like he was pretty poor. But You got to watch it next year. Like if you're working, just throw it on the computer on Friday or something.
I'll consider. I
Yeah,
did watch Full Swing, which I thought was fantastic.
I didn't watch that one. That's on
You
my
should watch
list.
that.
Yeah, it's
It's
on my
good.
list.
I watched both seasons. Really good.
My list is jammed up. I'm too busy doing this and playing Verdansk. I hate Warzone so much. I don't know why I play that stupid fucking game. All right. Let's wrap up with some baseball.
It's time.
All right. So instead of going through team by team like we did last week, which was fine given we had nothing else to really talk about, we have narrowed down a list of 6 or 8 teams that each fall into the category of surprise or, well, they're both surprises, but like one way or the other. On my notes, I wrote ass or not ass, but that's probably not politically correct for, a not for children podcast, right? But where do you want to start? The ass or the not ass category?
Let's start with the not ass.
Okay. Biggest surprise of the year has to be the San Francisco Giants. Like, I don't think that's up for debate.
Yeah, I mean they're 11-4 right now, and it was one of those off seasons where I think they kind of got a lot of hate because
they're relatively quiet, minus Verlander.
Mm-hmm. Well, minus Adames, that was the big one. They
that too.
Willie. He was a big signing, and I just feel like it didn't get a lot of love, and this roster didn't get a lot of love, and they had some guys that were horrendous last year that probably shouldn't have been. Like Camilo Duvall got sent down a handful of times last year, and he's been really good so far this year. So you definitely have to like that stuff. Like Landon Raup got called up this year. He's been really good. You have JV. I don't really know what he's going to give you, but I guess anything he gives you is a positive. I feel like
he's 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't expect anything. Matt Chapman's arguably playing the best baseball of his life in his 30s.
He's still really, really, really good.
Oh, he won a Gold Glove last year. Tyler Fitzgerald is kind of coming into his own. I feel like he's going to hit sort of a sophomore slump kind of thing because he let the world on fire last year when he got called up. Wilmer Flores just hits bombs. They've got a lot of pieces on this team. I genuinely still don't really know what the ceiling is. Oh, and how can I forget? Jung-Hoo Lee is awesome. He's been mashing so far. He's so much fun to watch. And even Yaz is swinging it decently well. I just don't know what the ceiling is. Like, I'm still not overly in love with the pitching of this team. Logan Webb is Mr. Reliable. Jordan Hicks is a converted reliever, and last year was his first year starting. I feel like he's still trying to figure things out. He's pitching to a 6 ERA right now. I mean, he strikes me as a good number 3. He throws that really heavy sinker. He throws hard. We all know him for being a flamethrower. He's got the stuff. I just don't know. Robbie Ray is starting to look much better, kind of rounding out into form. He's pitching to a sub-3 right now, and we talked about him, I think, last week, and he got roughed up in his first couple of starts.
Yeah,
so
we were pretty pessimistic.
Yeah, he's coming around, which I think I mentioned last week. A lot of people were talking about him as like a dark horse Cy Young, which I don't know if I would go that far, but I mean, if he can replicate any of what he used to have, you've got a really good arm on your hands, and that's a pretty good 1-2 punch in Webb and Ray. And like I said, whatever you get out of JV is just plus. And then you've got Ryan Walker and Camilo Duvall in the back end of the bullpen, which doesn't matter who you throw out there, it's gross.
Has Adames been any good?
Yeah. I think I want to say he hit his, I don't know if it was his first home run he hit his first home run last week. He's got 19 strikeouts, 7 RBIs. He's been quiet, hitting 203.
It's just funny because it's like that's their big offseason move, and like he's
like their 7th best hitter right
he's
now.
not really contributing. Yeah.
No. I'm always worried when guys go into that park, though. He had such a big power production year in Milwaukee last year, and then you kind of send him into that graveyard that San Francisco plays. And we saw it with Jorge Soler last year. Jorge Soler was useless because all he does is hit home runs, and he couldn't get the ball out of the yard there. So
yeah, it plays like a pitcher's
doubles.
Yeah, it plays as a pitcher's park anyways, but it's especially detrimental to right-handed hitters. Like, I mean, McCovey Cove's a short porch there, but I mean, righties are struggling. Dan Marine layer.
Are not that whole division is.
Oh yeah, minus the Rockies.
Minus the Rockies, yes, but we're sitting at the Padres at 13-3. the Giants and Dodgers at 11-4 or 11-5 both, and then Arizona's a couple games over 500. If the Giants continue to play like this, I mean, this is going to be. I mean, we might get the wild card race is going to be crazy because we're talking about you've got 3 teams that could potentially be wild card team. We're talking about as we stand today, that Dodgers has a wild card team, and then you're not even factoring teams like Atlanta and Philly. It's gonna be a fun wild card race. I hope it continues. The NL is really good.
The NL is far better than the AL this year.
Yes. It was last year too.
Yeah, but definitely this year. Like, I don't think there's any room for debate. The next not ass team is staying in the same state, the Angels. That's a surprise because in the one written division preview I did, I had the Angels in 4th or 5th. I don't quite remember where I had them shaking out, but I was like, if this was 2018 or 2019, this team might be really good. It might be 2018 or 2019. They're hitting the ball. They are hitting.
They have had a pretty friendly schedule for what.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, playing the White Sox is.
I'm not a big. I hate this argument in baseball. We 100% talked about this last year. Strength of schedule in baseball is the stupidest thing in the world that when people talk about, because you play everybody. Like, I don't care who you play.
Yeah.
Like, yes, to some extent it matters, but I don't like when that.
More so for the division. More so for like division stuff. Like if you're in a crappy division,
but you play the division less now, so it matters even less.
Yeah, that's true. But like you're still playing them 20% of your schedule.
Yeah.
So like I feel that I think it has a little bit of, it has some ground to stand on in that aspect, but
it's just not a strength of schedule sport.
No, not at all. Yeah, a bad team wins 40% of the time. That's just the nature of how the game works. Like,
yeah, but they played the Cardinals, who have been bad. They played the Guardians, who have been underwhelming. I would say, I think, is a fair assessment to this.
They always are, though.
They beat the Rays in a series, who haven't quite found their stride. They look really good sometimes and look really bad other times. So I don't really know what to make of them. They're coming off a series loss against the Astros, who have not looked particularly good, but seem to be actually hitting the ball a little bit better. Then you played the White Sox and then the Dodgers. So it's hard for me to put a ton of stock in the record. Just they've played a lot of – I mean, they've played the 2 worst teams in baseball in the first 5 series of the season. So you get a little bit of a free ride. But for a team like this, that's kind of what you need. I mean, Mike Trout, you're just hoping he stays healthy. It's nice for him to just beat up on some guys. I know he's got a 196 batting average, but he's OPSing almost 900 right now. Still one of the best in the game. I don't care what the batting average looks like. He's still mashing. He's still got 6 home runs. I think probably 6 of his 10 hits this season are home runs.
Yeah, it's also April 14th.
Yeah, exactly.
This, so it's like the 200 average is no reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyron Paris is lighting the world on fire. He's arguably been the best hitter in the MLB to this point. He's got 5 home runs so far. Mostly coming within the last 2 weeks. Nolan Shanuel is starting to figure things out a little bit. This is just a team, and the Angels are notorious for just rushing up prospects that are really good and then just throwing them to the fire and seeing what happens. And these prospects that they've done it to the last 2 or 3 years are finally, they're in the league for a couple of years. So I think they're finally kind of getting their sea legs and they're going to take a step forward. I mean, this is a team I'd like to take a step forward, but they just play in a good division. So I think I also picked them 4th, but I could definitely see this team beating out the A's and or Seattle at the end of the season.
Yeah, like that preview I wrote, the Angels might be 3rd if they keep playing this way. Hell, they might even be 2nd.
It might be 3rd with 84 wins.
Yeah, truly. But yeah, I made a joke about it, but I wasn't expecting, this good of a start. They look pretty good. I mean, there's not a ton to complain about. Yeah, the schedule's been sort of favorable, but I mean, as long as you can keep hitting like they are, most of the pitching will, most of the time you pitching will be fine.
And their best arm isn't even throwing well yet. Kikuchi has not figured it out yet. He was a back half wizard last year. I was kind of hoping he would carry some of that over from what he did in Houston. I don't know if he's going to, but I mean, he's still going to be a valuable trade piece at the deadline. No matter which way you cut it, they're going to get something for him.
I would have to agree with that. Our 4th non-ass team. We kind of split the bill on the last two. The Mets and the Marlins. I guess we can start with the Marlins because the writing's on the wall for these guys. It's just they are much better than we expected out of the gate. Playing 500 ball.
They're over 500 right
Yeah,
now.
it's not saying much, but like we were surprised by that, even though we might talk about the Cubs in a little bit, but we were talking before the show started that the Cubs should go get Sandy. I like that. Sandy's a gamer, steals out, so would really like to add some pitching depth there. So if that were to come to fruition, that would be real bad for the Marlins because that's probably the one guy on the team that's worth just about anything at this point. But they have been playing some good ball. 8-7 is a genuine shock.
Yeah, and 4 walk-off wins of those 8. So a little bit of fool's gold, if you will, because
for sure,
pretty much as toss-up as you can be. But Kyle Stowers, who came over in a trade last year from Baltimore, has been really good so far. Matt Mervis has been really solid so far. He just hit a bomb the other night. Dane Myers has been really good. Like, they have a lot of young pieces that are going to be fun in a couple of years. Griffin Conine is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy's going to get moved this year. Last year, I talked about Luzardo getting moved at the deadline, and he didn't, which was shocking to me.
Yeah, he did get moved, though. Or signed elsewhere, yeah.
Yeah, now he's gone. Sandy's got 2 years of control left. I think it's time. I mean, this is probably the peak of what you'll get from him. I know he is just coming off of injury, so it's hard to sit on him until the deadline, but I think at some point he's going to move. And to my knowledge, they're trying to avoid keeping him in division because he's a guy that will get traded with 2 years of control on the contract and then probably extended. So I think the Cubs make a lot of sense as a potential suitor. And I'm not 100% positive on what their prospect capital looks like, but obviously he's going to cost a pretty penny as a former Cy Young winner. But that's your move, right? I mean, we talked about it, how they're kind of going all in with Kyle Tucker, and hopefully they can get the deal done to extend him. I mean, it just makes sense. I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, especially with you losing your number 2 arm for the season, and him coming back next year isn't even a certainty if it is Tommy John. Is it Tommy John? Because the notification I got said elbow reconstructive surgery, which I feel like is just a fancy way of saying Tommy John. So I don't know what else you could reconstruct in there. But yeah, Marlins have been a surprise. I love Sandy. I'd welcome you to my team with open arms. I would just stay away from Craig, whatever you do. Mets. This was kind of an iffy one too because I don't think anybody you would ask who knows about baseball would be like, oh, the Mets are going to suck this year. I don't think anybody would say that. But it's possible, like playing 500 ball at times, get hot here, get cold there. That's definitely on the table. And they look to be playing pretty good baseball right now.
Yeah, they're an interesting case. And I think I kind of alluded to this multiple times through the offseason that I just didn't love what they did. And you can't knock them for signing Soto. It makes perfect sense for them to do that. But they're only hitting 215 as a team right now. Obviously, I think that's going to trend towards the norm, just like their pitching staff pitching to a 2-3 is going to trend towards the norm eventually. Mm-hmm. The bullpen has been insane for them so far. I mean, I know that this Mets organization develops pitching better than a lot of organizations in the MLB, but it's just a question of, I mean, David Peterson is 40, 41.
He's older.
He's old for sure. Right. And they gave him a shot. He's pitching to a 2.7. Like, how long is a guy like that going to do that? He might do it the whole year. I could be dead wrong. He pitched to a 3-something last year. Do I think he repeats it? I don't know. But
I think at one point it was like in the 7 or 8, and he just got really hot. I don't know. Yeah. They're wild cards for sure.
And they're doing it with. They're kind of doing this without Diaz right now because he's actually been bad. The control hasn't quite been there. He just blew a save the other night. He's a guy that'll probably come around. I can't imagine that he's going to continually be bad. But I just don't have a ton of faith in this offense 1 through 9. Like outside of Soto and Heat at times, or I guess Lindor and Soto, there's nothing really that scary in this lineup. Yes, Pete is a power threat, but that's
it. He'll hit 240.
I mean, Brandon Nimmo, Sterling Marte. Brett
The
Baty.
real deal, Jeff McNeil. Don't forget about the former batting champ, Mets legend, the real deal,
Jesse
Jeff McNeil.
Winker. I hate Jesse
Oh,
Winker.
he stinks, dude.
I
Yeah, he's
despise
bad.
him. They love him up there, though. I hate him. Jose Siri is a defensive demon, but he might not hit his body weight this season. So it's
And
like
he's a string bean too.
I don't know what the ceiling is as far as offensive production for this team outside of those top 3 or 4, maybe. I just think the drop off is too big for them. And luckily for them, I mean, Atlanta's gotten off to a horrid start. So they're building out a pretty nice lead to start the season. And I mean, keep that lead for as long as possible. Because like you just mentioned with the NL West, we don't know what the wild card race could look like. I mean, we may only have NL West teams in the wild card.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the only thing I would counter to that, though, is like in the years past, have the Mets ever really been that good of a hitting team? Just in my mind, you don't. It doesn't jump out at you. You know what I mean? I feel like they're always kind of on the lower side of the offensive production, and their pitching has made up for it at times. Could be wrong, but I feel like that hot offense came sporadically last year, even. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just felt like last year there was so much like baseball voodoo, whatever you want to call it, around that team. Like the grimace.
It just happened.
Like,
yeah,
like just
stars aligned.
Dumb things that only happen in baseball, and it propelled them to finding a playoff spot, which arguably they shouldn't have even been in the first place. And then you come out this year and start 10-5, and it's there might be some validity to what they did last year. And I wasn't a full believer, I'm by no stretch of the imagination am I saying they were going to be bad this year, but when you look at that division and I look at the rosters, I still see them as the third best team in that division. And I might be very wrong. They might just run away with this thing. But that's how I felt preseason just based on everything that went through.
Agreed. And we can parlay this into the ass section because the Braves have to be, if not 1B or 1A, like the biggest surprise so far. Because the only saving grace they have right now, they have 2. A, 1, however you want to do it. They are still a little beat up. Like Acuna's not quite back yet. I think Strider's going to be back shortly, right? Couple weeks.
Yep, I believe April, late April, early May, something like that.
Late April, early May. Okay.
Actually, I think he just made his last rehab start, so maybe next week.
Okay, so pretty quick here. Strider will be back. That's your ace. Acuna is probably your most well-rounded offensive player. He'll be back soon, I think, right? Late April, early May for him.
I believe so, yeah.
And it's not June yet, so you got some time because you guys don't lose in June.
Well, and Spencer Schwallenbach. I mean, he looks like he might win an NL Cy Young.
Oh, he's so good.
He's absurd. But yeah, I mean, you're 4-11. Like, this is not a good start at all.
Well,
out.
Some perspective here, Will. They're 4-3 in their last 7 because I think they started 0-8.
Yeah, they did. That's not bad. It's a step in the right direction. Oh, they're 5-11 actually.
Oh, look at them go! We're scorching.
5 in the last 10.
Yeah. Hey, it's better than 0-6, whatever it was, 0-7. But the bats, truly everything. But I think the bats especially have been the issue for this team. I mean, Austin Riley hasn't looked himself. Matt Olson hasn't looked himself. I feel like the only guy who's really bopping the ball around the yard right now is Sean Murphy. And I don't even know if he plays every day. I know they don't.
No, he doesn't. Baldwin's been playing a lot.
Yeah, the bats are this team's problem right now, for sure. I mean, the pitching hasn't been good either because, I mean, I feel like if they lose, it's 9-0. But you can't win baseball games if you have 0. I promise.
You have any next? No, that's all I got on the Braves.
Oh, okay. I guess I summed that one up pretty well without naming a single statistic. All right. The Twinkle Toes, the Twins, the Twinkies. This team is shit. No, this team's fucking shit. Chris Paddock relegated. Now he's so bad. I bet on that dumbass 3 times this year, and lo and behold, he sucks. But to my credit, they are in like those yucky, nasty contrarian spots, like being favored against Tarek.
Coming around.
Yeah, like that. that dumb stuff that I need to grow up and not do. But this team is really bad. And I think this one they're very similar to the Braves, except like where if the Braves are like balanced struggling, I feel like the pitching is what's really struggling for the Twins. Like they're having some offensive struggles too, but like they haven't had many games where it's like, oh, a crooked inning and we're good here. Like it's out of hand.
No, and it's been really disappointing because, I mean, yeah, you have the 1-2 punch of Joe Ryan and Pablo Lopez, but only those guys can only do so much when you turn it over to the bullpen. You can run down the list and everybody's got a 7 ERA. So
yeah, in the 5th inning too. So it's like, oh yeah, Joe Ryan, he looked okay, only sprinkled 2 runs, but he threw 90 pitches in 4 2/3, and now we got to hand it over to the bullpen for half the game. Yeah, disaster.
Yeah, and Duran has been really good so far. I guess I shouldn't say that everybody does. Justin Topa has been really solid so far. Griffin Jacks, who was one of the better relievers last year, is kind of off to a slow-ish start. It's just the offense. I mean, Buxton, I thought he was back for a second, and it's kind of just fallen off again.
Yeah, he did hit a home run yesterday.
But yeah, he's probably going to get hurt again at some point. I mean, would you believe me if you told me that their best hitter right now is Ty France?
Yeah, because he's a legend. We love Ty France.
I love Ty France. No, he had 2 bombs this week. He's back. He hit 2 bombs this week, 3 doubles. He's back. I mean, this was a team like I got a lot of confusion with when I was predicting teams because I was very down on the Twins. And everybody, why are you so down on the Twins? They've got a better roster than Cleveland, or they've got a better roster than Kansas City, and wait till Buxton is back, and wait till Royce Lewis is back. And it's like, those are huge ifs. And I never try to hang my hat on guys that haven't played a full season in forever.
It's true.
I just don't. And yes, like I do believe in Bailey Ober. I do like that piece. I think he's just going to get better. He's off to a really bad start. He's going to get better. I love Joe Ryan. I love Pablo Lopez. Those 2 guys are studs. They've got a good back end of the bullpen. But, I mean, up and down this lineup, I mean, you're starting Ty France in almost every game right now. The guy was released like 3 times over the last 2 seasons. It's just there isn't a lot to get excited about on offense, and especially when the pieces that you would be excited about are always hurt.
Yeah, I see both sides of this because all the people who are like, but this roster is better, they're right. Assuming what you said is true, where they're playing. And that's the big if. Yeah.
I still don't think top to bottom, though. I don't think the Twins lineup at full strength is miles ahead what Detroit
it's marginally better.
That's what I mean. Like,
it's not.
I personally wouldn't agree with that either. Like, I think at full strength, Detroit's lineup is probably better top to bottom, but it gets made out to be that, if this team is full strength, they're going to run away with the Central.
Yeah, no. If anything, it's very slim. But I'm not saying I necessarily agree with all those haters that you got for that. I'm just saying, like, I don't think they're taking crazy pills by saying that, assuming that Royce Lewis and Byron Buxton are healthy. But in any case, nothing to really be excited for here. They did win the Joe Mauer statue game, though, which is nice. Good for them. Yeah, you have to. I saw that. They did his statue unveiling this morning, and I bet the Twins yesterday, and I was like, didn't even know that they actually won. But yeah, they're on my naughty list for sure. I don't want to beat a dead horse with them. You got anything else to add? Because yeah, they're
not fun. Not fun.
No. What did I write there? Oh, okay. AL West. This is a weird ass category because the first team we know is not ass, but they've been playing like ass. But you couldn't tell they're playing like ass if you looked at a record, and that is the Texas Rangers. These guys cannot hit right now. Just can't do it. Can't do it if their life depended on it. And they're 9-7, you said?
They're 9-7. They just got swept by the Mariners, and before that, they lost a series to the Cubs. So there are 1-5 in their last 6. So they were 7-6-2 to start the year.
And I think their team batting average is around 200. It might be less than 200. Like they've been hitting that badly. I'm sure it's
208. Nope, 208.
That's bad. I
Right
think
around what the Twins are hitting.
yeah, Corey Seager hit his first home run, I think, against the Cubs. Cubs are the first game of that Mariners series.
Yeah, and I want to thump.
No, I know Adolis Garcia's been one of their better hitters, yet still
Yeah, he's got
quiet.
2 bombs. I mean, Seager's got 3 bombs, but he's got 3 solo bombs.
Yeah, no one's getting
3
on
home
base
runs
for
and 3
them.
RBI. Yeah, and Jake Berger has been their best run producer at this point. Him and Jonah Heim when in limited at bats, and I know Langford is hurt. He's a guy I'm super high on this season. He's going to be fine, I think. Jock Peterson has been quite honestly useless.
Did
Everything that
anyone
you need
really
him to
expect
do.
him to not be useless though? Because I
I
feel
did.
like
He was good last year. He had like almost 30 home runs
yeah,
last year
but
as a platoon guy.
yeah, but like I don't
I
know.
love
I
that
just
signing.
like I feel like baseball nerds really, really, really get into him. I'm not saying I'm not a baseball nerd, not like you and some people though. Like you guys are way into it. To me, I just have the perception of it like he's a journeyman now. You know, like I know
Yeah.
he won a World Series MVP, didn't he? Or was close to it.
Oh, I don't know about that. Did he? No, there's no way.
No, he was on team, so
Who?
maybe that's what I'm confusing. I mean, he won. He was with the Braves when they won, right? He was with the Dodgers. He's with the Cubs. He's just kind of a journeyman in my eyes now. You know, he's kind of bumped around. He's been on what 6
Well, he's a
teams now.
platoon guy at this point. Like you can't play him in the field.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do? The 2-time All-Star. Like it's not like his numbers are ever that insane.
No,
But I
but
mean,
he
he's a
was a
20
solid,
home run.
capable
He's a
player.
20 home run guy as a platoon bat, which I think is perfect, right? And I thought he was going to slot right into that lineup. He's been horrible, really bad, pretty much borderline useless, to be honest. And the pitching has been okay at times. Well, I guess it's been okay at times. It's been really good and it's been kind of bad.
Yeah, but I feel like the blowups are a little few and far between, right?
Yeah,
Like I think the Cubs pieced him up one of those games pretty good.
So did the Mariners.
Yeah, but it was just like one of them. Like I feel like most of the games they're playing, their pitching staff has given them a chance to win, and the hitting just has completely let this team down.
The most surprising thing so far, Jacob deGrom, not even a strikeout per inning right now. A little bit of a red flag, in my opinion, because that's kind of what he does. I don't know if he's just trying to play down to stay healthy a little bit, if he's kind of just getting used to pitching again. But to me, that is slightly concerning. But I guess if he stays healthy all year and you get
it'll bounce back.
Like, I mean, if you get a 3.7 out of him this year, I mean, at least you had him all year, right? Can't hurt you.
Yeah, exactly. And even if he's not striking out guys at that ridiculous clip he has been, you know, his entire career, like you said, he's playing. That's what's most important because, you know, you throwing in like they don't have him anymore, but an Andrew Heaney or a Dane Dunning, yeah, I'll take Jacob deGrom 100 times out of 10. I love Dane Dunning myself.
Love Dane Dunning. Right
Dane Dunning Day. And then the last one's the Astros. Pretty similar start to last year. But the real concerning piece to this, for me anyways, is this team isn't last year's team. Like, you've got Altuve. He's the last remaining of the old guard. Like, no one else on that World Series team, he's the last one. And then you have Jordan. Outside of that, I don't know.
And he's bad in left field. When he plays left
field, as a defender, yeah, he's terrible.
He's horrible out there when they stick him out there. I don't think they have been as much, but he's bad out there. Can't do that.
And it's really hard because he literally has less outfield to work with. Like, he's got the Crawford boxes behind him. Like, you literally have hundreds of less square feet to patrol, and you're struggling. The alley's tricky. The alley's a little tricky there, but you literally have so much less of left field. Like, the only other place he would have better success is in Fenway. But then again, I don't know if he can do geometry or not. I don't know. That's a good point. I really don't know. But I think they've been pretty similar, like, through the first 2 weeks, like the Rangers, except it seems to have flipped. Like, I feel like the Astros have been playing a little bit better the last week or two, or a week or so. It's only been 2-3 weeks of the season. But Like the woes have been the same. Like they get shelled and they don't score. I don't know how else to put it, really. I don't see too many shiny spots in that lineup right now.
Yeah, and there has bin some really good arms. Framber Valdez is really good. Hunter Brown is really good. Even Hayden Wesneski has been really solid for them. Hunter Brown was sneakily like the best pitcher in the second half last year. Him and Spencer Arrighetti.
Yeah, he had such a bad start, though. It was like, oh, yeah, I guess he was really good. I knew Wesneski was good, though. Cubs legend.
Yeah, good arm. Ronel Blanco is finally rounding back into form with a 7 ERA. That's about what I expected last year, but somehow he was a wizard. You still have Josh Hader in the back end. I mean, this is a team that I can't completely count out.
Oh, never. But they did the same thing last year.
But to your point, I think you made the best point. This is not last year's team. You don't have Bregman and you don't have Kyle Tucker. That offense is completely different when you're saying we have Isaac Paredes, who I don't like. And
I know a lot of people don't. That's not a unique thing to say.
He stinks. What is he up to? 276, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. I'll take that. Okay, Christian Walker's off to a criminally slow start, which I thought that was a great signing. So these pieces you brought in to replace Kyle Tucker, and it isn't working yet. But they're really talented players, so I'm not going to sit here and say in a month from now they're not the second best team in the AL, because that's very possible.
Yeah, and forget my caveat is if it's not the same team. They did the exact same thing last year. I remember we were talking about it in June of last year, being like, oh, this team might stink, and then they ended up stealing a playoff spot from somebody else we would have rather watched, but that's neither here nor there. Any players specifically that are kind of grabbing your attention? Because Kyle Tucker is off to an MVP start. He's got more extra base hits than strikeouts.
He's a freak. I love watching him play.
Very good ball player. Makes me happy. It makes me sad when he's going to be gone, because we're not going to re-sign him.
Don't extend him.
Yeah, they're not gonna, and it's going to break my heart.
It would be so criminal of them to do that.
He's going to be, I know, but they're not going to pay him $500 million. Someone will. It won't be the Cubs, though.
Why? They should.
I know they should.
They're a big market team. They can.
But they just, I think
they had big contracts during the World Series run, though, like with Baez, and those weren't rookie contracts for those guys.
Well, they got one. Like I think Baez got one okay number, but I think that's gonna be. I think they're gonna err on the side of caution just because they got all 3 of those contracts right. Like they moved on from Rizzo, Bryant, and Baez at the perfect time. Like Rizzo hasn't played. Like Rizzo was probably the biggest loss, but like he had that weird injury issue last year. Like he was solid for the Yankees for,
it's fine.
2/3 of that, right? Chris Bryant, moving on from him, was
genius.
Great decision. And as bad as Chris Bryant has been, at least Javi Baez is available to play.
Yeah, at least he plays.
You know what I mean? Like I think Baez has been just as bad, but at least he's healthy.
At least he plays. He's like, that's how I always describe Andrew Benintendi. Like everyone just poo-poos him because it's the biggest contract in White Sox history. He plays 160 games every year. At least
he's playing well. He's playing well. Right now. He has more home runs this year than he did all of last year. That's awesome. Insane. And he's making what's more insane? The fact that he has more home runs this year through 15, 20 games than last year, or the fact that like that was an $80 million contract total, and it's like the highest paid player ever. He's making like $18 million a year.
Yeah, in White Sox franchise, crazy.
Yeah, and like it's not like you had bozos on that team forever. They're not a poverty franchise. Yeah, Paulie Walnuts, and Mark Burley. Frank Thomas, I know it was 20 years ago, so like the guys weren't getting paid that much, but like it's not like they had bad players, their entire history.
My biggest surprise player, and this makes me so happy, Spencer Torkelson went bomb again yesterday.
He's good. He's playing well.
5 home runs. He's halfway to his 2024 total in 15 games. Electric. He's back.
Good for him. I can bet him to hit home run props now. That's why I don't like him. He's just cost me a lot of money. It's nothing personal, Spencer, but
My guy. Stoked he's back. I love him. Always a believer.
you got a pitcher before we wrap up?
I don't know, actually. It's a really good question.
Mine's Shota. He's been a little disappointing to start. You mentioned that he might be due for a little bit of regression or a sophomore slump. And I don't think he's been like getting shelled, but like the strikeout stuff hasn't been there yet. You know, it's just kind of scattering guys around. Like, I don't think he's a prolific strikeout guy, anyways, but I feel like people are seeing him a lot better this year. And that's sad because we like Shota. We are a Shota
Mike.
podcast.
We like Mike.
We like Mike. We like Mike a lot. That is so cool. They can't say Shota, so they just call me Mike.
I would say my surprise so far on the good side has been Shane Baz for Tampa Bay. A guy that has been hurt for a while and has bounced back really nicely. He's got 19 innings pitched. He's pitching to a 1.42, 27 strikeouts in those 19 innings. He's 2-0, 3 quality starts. Not much you can ask for. And this was interesting because I had some questions on how the minor league park would affect the Rays pitching. Because this was actually new. It was news to me that I guess something with the batter's eye, it makes it a very pitcher friendly park. I guess it's really hard to hit in the trap for whatever reason with that batter's eye. So heading to George Steinbrenner Field, I thought there would maybe be some issues, especially with the younger guys on the staff that are coming back from injury, like him and Pepio and Taj Bradley. He's been lights out so far, so I'm a big fan of him right now.
For sure. Anything else before we wrap this bad boy up? We said it would be a little more streamlined, and it's an hour.
That's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
All right. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check us out on the old X, where the Everything app, where Will is tweeting everything college baseball. You like what I did there? A little play on words. We keep saying it. We're going to get into the written piece a little bit more. Keep filling up that Substack that we want you to subscribe to. We intend on doing that. Will is just a very busy man, and I am a very tired man. But we will be a little more active once baseball starts picking up and have a little more things to talk about. It's a little early yet, but I think we're getting to the point where we can start getting some written content out. That's all I got. You got anything for the people?
That's all I got. Make sure you're subscribing. Find us on Twitter, and we will see you next week.